record. You probably heard this meeting is recording right now. So welcome. Welcome to our episode 83. Wow. Yeah, that's quite a lot. So welcome to this coffee break. I know Augusto is here, but he might have to jump out pretty quickly because of upcoming service that it's happening in his house. So I'm gonna be taking over and I'm gonna be your host today. I do have my coffee, and actually this coffee is thanks to Abed. It's roasted in Copenhagen coffee. Last time that I was there, I was able to get some goodies from him. So yeah, it's tasting pretty good. So I like it today.
Drinking the same actually.
Oh, there you go. You see?
You're making us very jealous now. So.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually really good coffee. But
Guys,
yeah,
you really need to do another accelerator here in Copenhagen.
well, we'll see how that goes. I'm happy to go back for sure. So welcome to episode 83, Coffee Break, Autodesk Platform Services, formerly Forge. I think it's time to start taking that out. No, it's APS already for over a year or even more. No, I think it's a year or so. No, it's actually more. No, close to a year. But yeah, so grab your mug, basically load up your code and come and ask us questions. So I am, because this is my only slide. We don't need any other slide for today. And I'm gonna open up the floor. I see we have some of the people in my team joining, and I see a couple of new names too that I haven't had the pleasure to meet. But if you don't know me, I'm Jaime Rosales, so I'm one of the developer advocates for the platform, and well, here to help you out. So let's fire it up. Who has a question? I should start bringing Michael's Zoom noises on the background with like some crickets or something like that. But if
hello,
yeah,
I have a question about I'm following the tutorials, the .NET. Well, it's the ASP example for design automation, and it's a pretty simple example from one of the previous accelerators. But my challenge is that I need to accommodate that for working on work shared files. So I have also the blog post. I guess, am I able to share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bear with me a second.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
That's I have to jump over to my remote computer. And let's see, that's not it. Sorry about that. I'll keep talking. I'm just looking for that blog post. Well, basically what I need to do is I want to change the example that's given for this. They use the design automation, Node.js, Revit parameters, Excel. And this was a Node.js example. So my plan is to update this or change it, like see what changes I have to make to accommodate a C# workflow. I guess some of the questions I have, this example no longer works. Are there other examples for working with work shared files? The Heroku is no longer active. And I imagine there must be a lot of interest in working on work shared files. This was the only example that I could find. It would be great if there was a .NET example.
So I don't think we have the .NET, but we might actually have that sample updated, because I think you're looking into the Forge repository, and that might be a little bit outdated. So let me just quickly check. Yeah, so we have one that it's a Revit with RCW parameters exchange. And then we do with this one. Why is this one? Yeah, so let me send you a link to the updated one.
Okay,
And it's still in Node.js, but if you think about it, like mainly a lot of the stuff kind of happens on the user interface, right? So because this is where you're gonna be inputting the parameters and so on, and then it's just a matter of understanding how is it going back into the server, like what are the kind of like routes that are being used and so on, and then in order to replace that, I don't think there is a lot of the logic can be the same, and I think we have done similar kind of approaches with the tutorial and so on in order to just for you to understand the structure of the backend part to use design automation. So I don't believe we have this specifically into .NET, but we have some other ones that are. Let me see if I can find some.
and just for clarification, the example that you're sharing, I'm assuming is another example where you connect to your BIM 360 or ACC hub, as opposed to uploading a file from a bucket. I'm more interested in connecting to an existing hub.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so if you click on the chat, I shared you the link. So that one's even like a Revit Cloud Workshare parameter exchange. And it's already migrated into V2 with the authentication. So it's kind of like very, very close to be up to date because you see the last change was actually 2 days ago. And the cool thing about it also that I was going to mention is that now the author of this sample, which is our colleague Zhong Wu, he moved into the East Coast time zone. So he's no longer in China. He's now in Canada. He's going to enjoy the winter there for sure. But if you have any questions to him directly or anything like that, I think even the time zone kind of works quite well now.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for the help.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this. And I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. So like I said, take a look into it. I think one of the things that I always emphasize whenever using our tutorials or our samples and so on, I know the difference of language sometimes can be a little bit kind of like scary just to say, oh, this one is on Node.js, I don't know Node.js. But if you kind of look a little bit for like further into the logic of it, at the end it's kind of like the same, right? It needs to get a route, it needs to basically point to an endpoint and so on. So the logic at the end it's very similar. So it's just a matter of understanding how that sample it's actually interacting with the user interface that it's coming in, like whenever you're inputting parameters and so on, and then just kind of like move from there. And you can do comparison of how we do stuff when using Node.js or C# with the tutorials that we have.
So like comparing the design automation tutorial with Zhong Wu's example.
Yeah, like I said, it's a matter of like checking into the sample how the logic of that works, like where like what kind of endpoint it's actually calling, right? What are we passing in as the parameters, like the data that is being sent into design automation and so on. So on the backend part of things, there might be something already that it looks very similar to the tutorial, or maybe just a new extra function in order to create the use of this new function that we need for the sample. So when I say it's not going to be the same as the tutorial, I'm not saying this. I'm just saying that when you use the tutorial and let's say you compare the same kind of project with Node.js and .NET, you end up kind of like seeing the logic of how we represent the same use of the routes, the endpoints, the services in there in order to just recreate the same experience.
Right. It has to interact with the same endpoints
Exactly.
and make same calls.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks very much.
All right. Anyone else? It's awfully quiet today. You guys didn't have coffee. This is my second cup of coffee already.
I'm just wondering who's attending the AU23. Seems like it's in the corner.
It's like 2 weeks away. Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, a little bit less than 2 weeks. So who's going? Raise up the hands or something. Who's going to AU? So Sandeep, Michael, Ricky.
And
Is it only 2 weeks? Oh no.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit less than 2 weeks.
I'm
Awesome.
not done yet.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you're going, just a shameless plug, Abed is doing a class that actually I believe it's going to be very interesting. So definitely, I'll say give it a chance. I know Tyler,
Yeah.
you're already going to that class, so
I'm gonna send the link actually.
yeah, there you go. Okay. Any other questions that we can help you out with?
That's interesting. I'm also doing, I'm a part of a panel using about sustainability and using Autodesk Takeoff in EC3 integration. It's maybe similar to Abed's.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll say
exactly.
definitely. You guys should connect. Okay, so now I do see a lot of raise of hands. I know that was for the question of AU, but if you do have a question, just like you can unmute. I think Benjamin, go for it.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I'm a bit late to the party, so it's my first time here. I won't be there for AU, but my boss will go there. Anyway, I just wanted to know if for the tutorial and everything, does all the tutorial are on the same, does it reside also on the same GitHub from the Forge one, or there's multiple GitHub that I can go through for the tutorial and everything?
Yeah. So I believe you're referring to, let me share my screen 1 second. Let me move you guys up to here. I think you can see my screen now, right? So
Yep.
we have the getting started section. Basically, this takes you into the different kind of tutorials that we have. Let's say you're starting with this with like a simple viewer functionality that allows you to upload into a storage location that it's owned by you, or if you want to do connection into, let's say, something like BIM 360 or Autodesk Construction Cloud. We do have this other option for the tutorial. If you once you do either of these two, you can expand into building functionality like dashboards in order to.
Yeah, I've already been through the tutorial on the APS website.
Okay, cool. So you have this already? Have you played around with this already?
Yep.
Were you at one of the boot camps? I think it was 2 weeks ago.
No, I just did it on my own.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, awesome. I think you probably did it a lot faster than what we spent time on it. And then there is the last one that it's basically the design automation for it. Then another good resource, like I was showing before, it's probably our GitHub repository, where you can find different kind of examples that we have of projects that we have worked on and so on. You can even like filter out by language. So let's say someone was saying something with C#. So let's say you want to focus into creating a BIM 360 assets viewer sample. There is one for that. One that you can use design automation in order to create a Revit family. We have a couple privates there, but they're going to become public soon. We have JavaScript as well. So it's a matter of like, what are you looking into to building with this? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're working on.
Right now, we're trying to figure a way on how we can automate our project creation with ECC. And also automate adding members, removing members, or just changing the roles if there's need to. Because we're having a single hub in our company for all the different sectors. So there's a lot of roles that people having, and sometimes people from the sector of building engineering goes to infrastructure. Infrastructure is using different role, but that's on our end because it's our own process. So trying to figure a way on how we can automate the system, basically. So
Yeah.
I've looked through GitHub a bit, not this one, but another ones. One did a study on how you can create or automate the process with a CSV file with Forge for Bin360, but I haven't really found anything for ACC yet with the documentation.
Yeah, so ACC, like the admin API, it's kind of like quite new, to be honest with you. I think it became a public beta just recently. Let me just quickly look for something, because I'm pretty sure we do have some sort of blog post that talks about this, or even maybe some sample that does like an automation of like setup for an ACC project. Something that I need to check if we have already like let's say the create endpoints, like the post endpoints for some of that functionality, or are they coming soon? So let me see if we have something here. And I think we did. And if anyone on my team have seen that before.
Jean does have the project set up.
Yeah, right. That's
yeah.
That's what I'm looking.
That's the one that I'd recommend. There's a couple more, but that one's probably the go-to.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find him. Zone.
Yeah, so effectively you provide an Excel spreadsheet full of usernames and roles and a whole bunch of other things for that project setup, and then at a project template. And then you run this command line tool, and it will go and basically set up that project based on that Excel spreadsheet you give it.
So I see that we have, for example, like an ACC admin API Postman collection. I remember seeing something not too long ago about admin. Let me quickly ping him. Let's see if he responds. But in the meantime, we can also take another question. So yeah, Benjamin, we'll find out the information, and that way we can send you some stuff.
Cool. Thank you very much. Very appreciated.
Yep. Anyone else with a question?
I would like to ask something to Michael. If the viewer team decided on make a viewer cluster based on specific parameter, because now it's all only follow the category.
You can actually
Visual clusters. Yeah, go for it, Pino.
No, sorry. Yeah, you can configure the property that you want to cluster by now, I believe.
Ready. If there is any documentation or something, can follow.
Let me take a look. Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah, the cluster not even had any documentation, right? So
I mean,
Sounds
same
like a
in
blog
the
post.
markups and the measurement.
it was always one of those little treats that I could give people if they stay longer in my tutorials or something like that. I was like, oh, by the way, since you stay all the way at the end, I can give you something for you to enjoy. I'm still looking for this kind of stuff of the admin project creation. I swear to God, I saw it not too long ago, and I don't know where did it go. I actually saw it yesterday, and I don't know where it is now, but should be somewhere here.
What's actually kind of interesting, you can quickly test visual clusters with different categories or with different pivoting. In the tandem viewer, ironically, which also uses visual clustering for the accounting mechanism, you can change there's a button next to each filter, and you can click on it, and it will do this crazy visual filter trick. based on whatever, you know, whether it's levels or whether it's, you know, floors or rooms or Revit categories, that sort of thing. So it's definitely possible, and I'm pretty sure it's in an API somewhere, but I think, yeah, Peter's probably gonna look it up.
Yeah, it's not documented yet, but the options object that you can pass to the visual clusters extension accepts a property called attribute name. And when you specify this attribute name, that's going to become the property that the extension will use to categorize by, basically.
Options attribute name.
Sounds like a blog post, Peter. What do you think?
Actually, I'm thinking I may have entered Stack Overflow somewhere. I'm looking for it, but if I can't find it, yeah, it might be a good little blog post for sure.
I'm trying to just, yeah, so can I share my screen fast?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's the big 360 project setup, the one that I saw. But I'm pretty sure Song has something. I'll ask him. And I'll get back to you, Benjamin.
so basically the way I'm doing it, it's just calling the extension.
No, he found it.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think if you want to be able to pass in options to the extensions, you just need to load it later, right? Just use the viewer.load extension. And in that case, you can just say, load extension, auditors.visual clusters. And then the second parameter to this load extension method will be the whatever other additional options you want to pass to that extension code.
Okay. Yeah.
That's listed in the Stack Overflow.
Okay, if you can, yeah, I guess you already.
Yep, it's in the chat.
Yeah, okay, super. Yeah.
Ah, cool. So you can change it to any kind of like attribute itself?
Yeah, because
exactly.
It's in my case, it's just trying to also categorize some element based on instant parameter.
Yeah.
So basically, it could be like a local parameter from different engineers. So it'll be much easier to visualize it.
Oh, Ethan wrote it. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, Ethan is amazing when it comes to stuff like this. Like he always finds the little tricks. That's cool. Yeah, definitely should be a blog post. Okay. Any other questions? We still have about like 6 minutes. Yeah, go Nate.
Yeah, just a quick question. We have an application we're doing some stress testing for that's basically just an issue tracker with an embedded viewer. And the dev team came back to me and said that when they stress test 30 to 40 users accessing the viewer at once, it's sort of got a soft lockout where it wouldn't authenticate. I don't know if that's because there was no staggering between them, but have you seen anything like that? Are there any other plans to allow for slightly higher volume?
Hi, Nate. You're asking about 80 users accessing the viewer on different machines, I assume, different systems.
Yeah, we hit a lock at like 35.
In the viewer?
Yeah,
I mean,
so pulling the embedded viewer.
But is it with the same token?
Yeah, I guess Peter and I are scratching our heads a little bit. So the viewer is predominantly file streaming. So it's pretty much just coming from S3 and CloudFront. And then the bottleneck would be something on the front end of the viewer. So, maybe you've got a server that's delivering tokens to those 80 devices, and maybe it's that server that you've created that creates the tokens that's locking up. But the the viewer's ability to render and view and pull files from our servers is it's it scales up to 1 million users. So it's it's Amazon tech. We know that it scales well more than to 80 users. There's something else going on there.
Right. I was also going to say, Nate, maybe look at, because the viewer, again, it mostly runs, most of its logic, right, is on the client side. So there's really no like viewer specific functionality that 80 users trying to use it at the same time would have any impact on that. It could be either even loading, like Michael said, even loading files from our servers into 80 different viewers should not really have any impact. But it could be the viewer itself trying to get the access token, the authentication. Do you have any more details on how the auth is set up during that test?
I don't on that, but I'll definitely take another look at that. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. I mean, that would be something I would recommend looking at first before going, any further. See if, those 80 instances of the viewer are trying to talk to some specific server, maybe some testing server that generates these access tokens. Even that should be pretty quick though, but yeah. let's see.
Yeah, and if you find out about it, please send us a question through our support channel. I don't know if you know how to submit that. If not, happy to show you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've used it before. Thanks a lot.
Okay, cool. All right, I think we have 2 more minutes. Come on, one more question or announcement. Anything goes.
Is there another round of accelerators in the near future?
Yes. So right now, what we have upcoming, let me share my screen. For the kind of like end of the year, it's a couple of other ones that are, these ones are going to be mainly like on site. So we have the Bangalore one in India, and then also the Shanghai one in China. We are still defining dates and so on for the ones next year that are going to have also the hybrid mode. I know there is quite a lot of interest from some of you to have some on-site ones as well in the US. So definitely we'll be announcing those soon. We're just defining locations. And yeah, it will be great to have you around. I know Tyler wants to go back to Kansas City because the barbecue definitely was a good one. So yeah, maybe we can do comparison now with some Austin one or something like that. But yeah, so we'll keep you posted. Definitely, I will say keep an eye on the accelerator program site. As soon as we know the dates and the location and so on, we will start announcing those. Probably we'll have something for January. Hopefully not a location that's too cold. But other than that, yeah, I'll say just keep an eye on it. We'll be announcing different kind of channels that we have, or like even newsletters and so on. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, I recommend doing it. So yeah.
Sydney's nice and warm in January, just saying.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, just to follow up to anyone else who's going to AU, the Sunday before the opening, Sunday night, we are all meeting up. Anyone from who's ever come to an accelerator or is using APS services at all, even just thinking about it, come along to our dinner on Sunday night with the DAS team. It's at the Grand Lux Cafe in the Venetian on the ground floor, and it starts at 7 p.m. So come meet us there. You can send a message to Jaime or myself or the APS help, and we can send you the invitation details.
All right. Thank you, Michael, for that. I think you're seeing my correct screen now. Let me see if I show.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, cool. So next coffee break actually is going to be during AU. I'll be hosting again. Augusto is going to be at AU, so definitely catch him up for an IRL coffee experience. So definitely stick around. And then I want to say thank you again for those of you that join and ask the questions and so on, and then also to the listeners of the questions. I'm pretty sure you guys enjoy the time. So with that, I want to wrap it up, and I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us today, and looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. I think Peter actually is running that one, no?
Yeah. I think I'll cover that one.
All right, awesome, cool. All right, well, take care, guys, and enjoy AU.
Guys, take care. Talk to you in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
Good luck,
See you,
everyone at
everyone.
AU.
Bye.